So, I grew up between two sisters in my family. My older sister is 3 years older than me, so that meant that she had a real impact on the celebrities that I loved as a kid. And that meant, of course, that some of my biggest celebrities were the Spice Girls. Thank you. That's it. But however good the Spice Girls are, they're an example of a real manufactured celebrity. They were developed in response to boy bands of the day by a management company through rounds and rounds of auditions, and then they were grown in the major label system. My younger sister is 9 years younger than me, and so when we sat down over Christmas on her Chromebook, she showed me what celebrity truly means to her today. And what struck me is how different it is, and how different those celebrities rose in popularity, and how they've reached their audience. Some examples of her celebrities that she follows today are ones you may have heard of, like PewDiePie, who is now launching his own multi-channel network on YouTube, launching new celebrities' careers. And ones you might not have heard of, like Thatcher Jack, who's local to my family in Norfolk, in England. And he is a teenage Thatcher who has a following online. Can you believe that? So, what are these celebrities today, and how are they made? The terms that we hear used all the time are vloggers and YouTubers, but really a celebrity in the modern sense is someone who grows an organic audience around a core interest and their personality using an open, accessible platform. And this is all due to the reduced price of technology. So you can buy an HD camera for really cheap today, or the phone that your parents give you when you start school may have a better HD camera in it today than any camera you could have bought 5 or 10 years ago. And once you have that camera, you can use open platforms like YouTube or Twitch, that Craig discussed earlier, to reach that audience. And as you build your fan base and you get above 1,000 followers and keep growing, you start to learn through ad revenue that you can start to make a living from just showing your passions and what you love to do. And what really excites me about this new form of celebrity is the fact that it's so open. All you need is a passion and those basic bits of technology to reach the audience and start to grow a living. Celebrity today can really rise from the interests, needs, and desires of culture itself. So again, as Craig gave a much better description upstairs, gaming is a really interesting space for modern celebrity right now. And I think people really struggle to understand the size of these channels and really the engagement on them and why people are interested in watching people game in the first place. But really, again, as Craig said, it comes down to the fact that people love watching a professional play something much better than something they play themselves. It's very similar to sport. But on top of that, these broadcasters broadcast for 10 hours a day, up to 10 hours a day. And through that time, they really grow a story that develops over time. They interact with other users, other celebrities that people know, that the fans know. And over that time, the audience builds to the point where the fans believe in it enough to, in some cases, tip thousands of pounds at a time to the audience they love. So, it's the afternoon on the Friday of the conference. I can feel some eyes glazing over. How does this apply to music? I think we heard that upstairs a little bit. With some exceptions, musicians today really stick to the old model. You see artists using social media, using Periscope to stream from Pizza Express, Instagram with their tour photos, and label A&Rs use a lot of numbers to choose the acts that they grow. But really today, with these new platforms, artists are defined by their audience in the first instance, not by how we build them. So, here are 5 things that I think artists, labels, and managers should learn from the audience that celebrities build on channels like YouTube and Twitch. Firstly, it's about opening the creative process. As I said in the question to Craig, artists today are built off a mystique where they slave away in the studio for 6, 12, 18 months before releasing a final product for the marketing team to spend their budget on. But with the tools today, and the level of content creation that fans expect, artists should be opening up that process, publishing weekly, even daily, the process of how they're building the art that they are selling. Even going down to sharing the digital audio workstation files using a platform like Splice. The next step is opening up everything else. An example with Chew, one of our DJs, Logan Sama, is a world-renowned grime DJ. But he streams grime on a Monday, and over the weekend, he streams his Warhammer tournaments. It's not about fantasy, but it's about sharing real passions. Next, we've all seen those music videos where you get your audience to film a clip of their face for 30 seconds and send it in. That's a good start of audience interaction, but nowadays your audience has the same access to content creation that you do. So get them involved at every level. deadmau5 has been using live streams since 2012 to get live interaction into his creative process. People sending in vocals, samples, or just giving feedback on the production process. And beyond that, our fans should be involved in merchandise, remixing, creating artworks, and even helping curate live events for our artists. So next, for labels, dynamic rosters are key here. Susie mentioned yesterday the book The Long Tail by Chris Anderson, and I suggest that you read that. Could we take a multi-channel network approach to how we sign artists, signing 10 six-figure artists instead of 1 seven-figure artist? Really letting the artists continue to build the fan base that they know and have generated up to that point, and just providing supporting services on top to help them reach a further audience. As Sammy said in her first introductory speech, artists know how to build their audience better than anyone else, so we should support that. And finally, while Chris is not in the room, this is a personal one for Chew and for me. I believe that we need an open, permissive licensing system for new platforms. User-generated content is king right now across other channels, and it will be, and it already is becoming, really, really important in music. But platforms have no easy way to get started in using music content that is user-generated. If you look at the success of labels like Monster Cat and No Copyright Sounds, who have taken a fully active approach in offering licenses to their content, to platforms like Twitch, they've had incredible success in monetizing that music on other platforms, even if you wouldn't believe that anyone would buy the music from the back of a game in the first place. New platforms generate new talent, full stop. So there's quite a lot in there for 10 minutes. But what I'm saying is simple. Young people have the tools to create content empires today. It's happening in other verticals, and it will happen in music. If we don't change, it will happen without us. Let's all support this new generation of content creators. Thank you.
Time for a few questions from anyone.
Any questions?
I'd like to hear more about your Chew plan.
So Chew is a live streaming community for DJs, presenters, and kind of young music personalities. So we've got a little electronic music focus, as that's kind of the audience that really picks us up first. But what's really struck us is that we came from a background of doing a lot more live stream production for traditional musicians and music events. And at the beginning of last year, we switched to be a fully open live streaming platform, similar to Twitch, but for music. And what we've seen is how amazingly the content consumption and content creation has grown. You can compare our platform and our users much more closely to users on Twitch than you can on other music platforms. Our broadcasters broadcast up to 8-10 hours, often more, in a single session, and viewers watch that and interact with that on the same level through chat and through response videos as you'd see on Twitch. So, in my mind, this is a gap that is being shown in other verticals, but we've yet to see in music. I think it's quite exciting.
Worldwide or just which territories do you?
So it's worldwide. The biggest territories are the UK and the US. They're really the biggest right now.
What marketing steps did you take to grow your user base?
So the marketing steps we took were very organic. So we began with a core group of DJs that we knew, and then worked up from there, just going from community to community. We tried blanket kind of Facebook advertising, that kind of thing. But what really works for us is latching onto existing communities of DJs. So in the UK, it works, that kind of community comes out of pirate radio or underground radio, things like Hoxton FM and other stations where they have hundreds of DJs that operate in the same place. As we move out to places like the States, there's not as much of an underground radio culture, but things like DJ schools and music schools are a good place to start for us.